Today I'm going to show you how you could make a one-point perspective landscape picture in Gravit Designer. It could look something like this one. Let's open a new file. I like to make it 1500 by 1000 pixels. First things that you're going to want to do are to make sure that your snapping tool is on, and go to View, Canvas, and Show Rulers. That will make rulers appear at the top and the side. And from that you can just drag down a horizon line. From your top ruler, just click and drag down and a line will appear. Where you put your horizon line is up to you. I'm going to put mine about there. And that is just going to show me where the sky meets the ground in my picture. I'm going to zoom out a bit so I can see the whole canvas. And then I'm going to draw a rectangle for the sky. Clicking on the circle for fills, I'm going to choose a blue. And I think I'll make it a gradient, a linear gradient. And I want the gradient to go from top to bottom and to be darker at the top. So if I click the rotate gradient button twice, that will change its direction. I don't think I want this to be black at the top though. So I'm going to click the slider and choose a different blue. And then I'll click the other slider and just have it be a little more light and gray towards the horizon. You can vary these colors however you want. I'm going to draw another rectangle for the ground. And I'm going to fill that with a green. That perhaps turns to a more gray green in the background. As things get farther away from you, they just look a little bit more grayed out, sometimes a little purplish. So if there were mountains in the distance, we would see them as rising up from the horizon line. We could just draw them in anywhere, starting at the horizon line, and give them whatever kind of mountainous shape we want. Here's one. Let's give it a different color. And I'm going to add another slider in here and make it purple. Maybe rotate it a little bit. Just see what looks good. Make another mountain. Now if I want that one to go behind, remember you can move the layers in the layers panel, drag it behind, or look at these tools up here. With one click you can send an element backwards in the layers panel. Now it's behind. If I want to have a sun in my sky, maybe setting behind the mountains. Can do that by drawing an ellipse with the Shift button held down. Maybe a radial gradient would be better for that. How about some clouds? Let's make those a compound shape. And we'll change the fill color to white. Okay, so let's put a little dot for a vanishing point. Right on the horizon line. We'll do that with an ellipse. And then we can make the guidelines, our perspective guidelines, out of the pen tool. Just like when we did the drawing for 1-point perspective, we can make a guideline from the corner to the vanishing point, to the corner. Oof. Well, obviously we don't want this fill, but let's just have a border on them. Let's make another one here. Okay. Be sure to label those guidelines so that you will be able to find them and get rid of them, because they're not really supposed to be part of the final picture. And either is the vanishing point. So we will hide those, hide the visibility before we are done with our picture. Okay, suppose we wanted to put some buildings in here. I would start with a rectangle, and we'll make the building closest to us be as tall as our guidelines. So we'll go from the top guideline to the bottom guideline with a rectangle for our largest and building that's closest to us. For the fill, I'm going to choose a kind of a middle gray. Now for the side of the building, I'll make another rectangle that's the same height, maybe a little skinnier, and I will make it a little different color. Okay, now I'm going to want to move this top left corner and this bottom left corner to be parallel to my guidelines. So in order to move those points, I need to change this rectangle into a path with the Convert to Path tool. All I have to do is click it once. And then I will be able to use my subselect tool, which is under the regular pointer, and select the point and drag it down, and select this point and drag it up so that it is parallel with our guidelines. And then I'm going to switch back to my regular pointer tool and select both sides of the building and group the building. And we can change the name of it to building in the layers panel. Now I can copy and paste or duplicate and drag off another copy. Now this one's going to be a little farther away, so it's going to be smaller and it's going to sit behind the first building. It should fit within our guidelines again. Let's send it back, or you can move the layer in the layers panel. And so on. All the buildings should get smaller as they get farther away. If you want to make a sidewalk, you could do that with the pen tool with only a few clicks. Just follow your guidelines. Sometimes it's helpful to lock the big rectangles that are the ground and the sky. If you want to have a road, again, just follow the guidelines. It should disappear at the vanishing point. Okay, let's see, how could we make a tree or two on the side? Could start with a rectangle for the trunk. Let's give this a solid color fill of brown. And then we'll work on branches with our pen tool. Branches are made with a lot of Y shapes. Okay, let's select both the top and the bottom of the tree and make it a compound shape. Let's move it to the front. For the green part of the tree, for the leaves, you can do that however you want to. I'm probably just going to make a couple of big green ellipses and then send them to the back of the branches. Hold Shift, select them all, and group them. Then send that group to the back of the tree. Somehow this ellipse did not get included in the group. Let's just make sure we get it. Send it back. Okay, so it's the same idea with the tree. Make sure that the whole tree is grouped. And then you can duplicate it or copy paste. Drag off copy and make it smaller. Put it behind the other tree. You can send it to back, or you can move it in the layers panel. And again, you can duplicate, make another tree, move it over, make it smaller, and put it way off in the distance. Don't forget to put it behind. Okay, so all sorts of interpretations of a landscape are possible. I will leave it up to you to make one that you like, following the basic rules of perspective. Don't forget to save your work. I'll see you next time.